Have you ever woken up after a full night of sleep and still felt tired? Not just sleepy, tired in your bones. The kind of tired where even making coffee feels like a chore. If that sounds familiar, you are not alone. Many older adults say, "I just don't have the same energy anymore." But here is the surprising part. Feeling tired all the time is not simply getting older. There are real reasons behind it. And once you understand them, you can start to feel like yourself again. Let's talk about what may be happening in your body and daily routine, and how small shifts can bring your energy back. When life slows down after 50 or 60, the world tells you that you should finally relax. The calendar has more blank space. The alarm clock is no longer the boss. In theory, this should bring peace. But many people are surprised to find that quiet days can feel more draining than busy ones ever did. It seems confusing. How can you feel tired when you are doing less than ever? The truth is, your routine became quieter, but your mind never learned how to slow down with it. For decades, your brain worked on a schedule. Work, errands, kids, meals, appointments. Even if life was hectic, there was structure. Each task acted like a small landmark that guided your energy. You knew where you were headed, and your brain loved that rhythm. Structure gives the mind a reason to focus. Then comes retirement or a change in lifestyle. Those landmarks disappear. There is no pressing reason to get dressed at the same time each day. Coffee can be enjoyed slowly, maybe too slowly. Breakfast shifts from 7 to 9. Before you know it, the day feels like a long hallway without doors. Nothing tells your brain where it should place its energy, so it keeps spinning quietly underneath. Imagine a phone with apps open in the background. It looks still, but the battery drains because there is unseen activity. The same thing happens in the mind. Without a clear rhythm, your brain stays busy trying to figure out what to focus on. It starts thinking about everything at once. What needs to be done today? Should I start something? Should I rest? That constant internal debate is exhausting. Many seniors describe it as feeling tired before the day even begins. Not from physical work, but from mental clutter. The mind is looking for direction the same way it did during the working years. It wants a reason to shift from thinking to doing. When there is no structure, everything becomes optional. And paradoxically, too much freedom can feel heavy. There is also the emotional piece. When life slows, you finally have time to think about things you pushed aside for years. Memories, regrets, worries about health or family. Without daily tasks acting as distractions, those thoughts float to the surface. Thinking uses energy. Reflection uses energy. Even joy uses energy. This kind of mental work does not look like effort from the outside, but you feel it. Feeling tired in a quiet routine does not mean you are lazy or unmotivated. It means your mind is still living in busy mode, searching for direction while the world around you has gone still. Recognizing that your brain needs gentle structure, not endless free time, is the first step to feeling lighter again. It surprises a lot of people to learn that tiredness can come from something as simple as not drinking enough water. We usually associate fatigue with lack of sleep, stress, or age. But water plays a bigger role in energy than we realize. As we get older, the body's natural thirst signal becomes dull. That means the body may need water, but the brain doesn't send the same strong alert it used to. You may go hours without drinking anything simply because the urge isn't there. By the time you realize you are thirsty, you are already behind. Water affects everything. It carries oxygen through the bloodstream, cushions joints, helps the brain function, and keeps muscles working smoothly. When the body doesn't have enough water, the blood becomes thicker and moves more slowly. That means less oxygen reaches your brain and muscles. The result is a heavy, slow feeling. The mind becomes foggy. Concentration becomes harder. Even simple tasks can feel overwhelming. What is interesting is how the body masks dehydration by making you feel tired rather than thirsty. You reach for coffee to wake up, but the real issue may be that your body needs plain water. Dehydration also affects mood. When the brain lacks hydration, it becomes harder to regulate emotions. Everything may feel slightly more frustrating or overwhelming. You might find yourself snapping at a small inconvenience or losing patience faster than usual. Fatigue and irritability often appear together, and water can be an invisible part of that equation. Many older adults drink less water because they fear frequent trips to the bathroom or nighttime interruptions. Others replace water with tea, coffee, or soft drinks without realizing that these can actually encourage the body to lose more fluid. Even mild dehydration can reduce energy by a noticeable amount. It does not take severe dehydration to feel sluggish. A small imbalance can leave you drained. Think about a houseplant that looks droopy. It is not dying. It just needs water to stand tall again. Your body works in a similar way. Once it gets what it needs, you start to feel more alert. Your thoughts get clearer. Your mood steadies. The improvement can be gentle but noticeable. Energy is not always about doing more. Sometimes it is about giving your body what it quietly needs. Water may seem simple, but it fuels every part of life. When you nourish your body from the inside out, your energy naturally rises. Feeling tired all the time is not always a mystery. Sometimes the answer is already in your glass. Many people are surprised when they discover that the feeling of being constantly tired may not be coming from aging at all, but from something as routine as the medication they take every day. Prescription drugs are designed to improve health, manage symptoms, and protect the body, yet they can also create side effects that slip in quietly. Fatigue is one of the most common. It doesn't always show up dramatically. Instead, it sneaks in slowly the way dusk fades into night. One day you notice you're waking up groggy. A week later, you're falling asleep in your chair. After a month, you start believing you're just slowing down because of age. Many medications that are important and necessary can influence the body's natural rhythm. Some slow the nervous system to keep blood pressure steady. Others calm allergies, help with sleep, or help stabilize mood. In doing so, they may also slow mental alertness and physical energy. It's not that the medication is doing anything wrong. It's doing exactly what it was designed to do. But the body can interpret that calming effect as tiredness. What makes this tricky is how subtle it can be. You might feel a steady decline of energy instead of a sudden change. You may assume your low energy is from lack of motivation or simply a part of getting older. Meanwhile, the medication is quietly influencing how alert your body feels. Even medications taken at night can affect the next day. Some stay in the system longer, especially as the body's metabolism shifts with age. There's also an emotional element that often goes unnoticed. Taking medication can be a reminder of health concerns or long-term conditions. That mental load alone can drain energy. It's tiring to keep track of refill dates, pill schedules, and changes in dosage. And it can be heavy to live with the awareness that your well-being depends on something outside of you. Emotional fatigue often blends with physical fatigue, making it harder to recognize the root cause. The important thing to remember is that feeling tired doesn't reflect weakness, laziness, or a lack of willpower. Sometimes the body is responding normally to the chemistry introduced into it. Some people describe the sensation as walking through fog. Others say they feel like their body is working harder just to stay awake. These experiences are real and they matter. If you've ever felt that your energy changed around the same time a medication changed, it's worth being curious about it. Awareness is powerful. Understanding that medication may influence your energy level can bring clarity and peace of mind. Feeling tired all the time is not always a sign of aging. Sometimes it's simply the body whispering that something in the routine has shifted. A lot of people reach their 60s and think their energy is slipping because they have lost motivation. They sit down to rest, and somehow hours pass. Things that were once easy, like carrying groceries or walking across a parking lot, feel like a project. It can be discouraging, and the mind begins to whisper, "What is wrong with me?" The truth is often simpler and far more forgiving. Your energy may not be low because of a lack of motivation. It may be low because your body has quietly lost muscle. Muscle acts like a personal power plant. It gives stability, balance, strength, and most of all, energy. When we were younger, muscle built itself naturally. We lifted kids, carried heavy laundry baskets, spent weekends cleaning or moving around at work. Daily life kept our body strong. As life becomes quieter, those built-in movements disappear. Muscles shrink slowly. The process is so gradual that you rarely notice it happening. One day you wake up and suddenly everyday life feels harder. When muscle declines, your body burns less energy efficiently. Tasks that used to be automatic start to require planning. Even getting out of a chair or climbing stairs demands more effort. Your heart and lungs have to compensate for what the muscles are no longer doing. The result leaves you feeling tired before you even begin. It may seem like you do not have the drive, but in reality your body simply does not have the fuel. People sometimes assume exercise only belongs in gyms. They picture treadmills, weights, and athletic clothing. But strength begins with something much simpler. Any move that asks the muscles to push, pull, or stabilize encourages them to grow. Standing from a chair without using your hands. Lifting grocery bags evenly with both arms. Walking on uneven ground to challenge balance. Small movements build muscle without you needing to think of it as a workout. Something powerful happens when muscle returns. Energy improves. Confidence improves. The world feels physically easier to navigate. You begin to trust your body again. Many older adults describe a shift where life stops feeling like something happening to them and instead feels like something they can participate in. It brings back small pieces of independence and dignity. It is not about doing everything perfectly. It is about giving your body the chance to support you again. You do not have to force motivation. Motivation grows naturally when movement feels possible. The body remembers what strength feels like, and once it gets a taste of that feeling again, it wants more. This isn't about becoming younger. It is about feeling more alive in the body you have today. There is a kind of tired that sleep cannot fix. It settles into the chest, not the muscles. It shows up even after a calm day, even when your body hasn't worked hard at all. This is emotional fatigue. It comes from carrying too much inside for too long. Many seniors experience this without realizing it. After years of holding a family together, being the dependable one, making decisions, and staying strong through difficult moments, the weight doesn't disappear just because life has slowed down. The heart remembers what the mind tries to dismiss. When the house gets quiet, old feelings that you never had time to process start to surface. You finally have space to think. Memories show up. Some are comforting, others are painful. You think about people you miss, relationships that changed, seasons of life that are gone. You reflect on what you gave, what you sacrificed, and what you never got a chance to do. Thinking sounds easy, but it uses real emotional energy. Can drain you faster than physical work. There is also the fatigue of worrying about others. You may still think about your kids, even if they are adults. You may worry about their jobs, their marriages, their health, or whether they are happy. You replay conversations. You wonder if you did enough. Caring that deeply can leave the mind running all day, even if the body is resting. It feels like sitting in a quiet room while your mind sorts through filing cabinets that were ignored during the busy years of life. Loneliness plays a part too. Humans are wired for connection. When there are fewer social interactions, fewer shared meals, and fewer spontaneous conversations, the emotional tank begins to empty. A phone that stays silent for too long can feel heavier than any physical burden. The heart is tired from waiting for connection that used to happen naturally. Emotional fatigue also comes from loss. Not only the loss of loved ones, but the loss of roles. You may no longer be the central coordinator of family activity, the daily problem solver, or the person everyone depends on. A part of your identity shifts, and adjusting to that change takes energy. Some days you may not even recognize yourself. That can feel unsettling, and anything unsettling drains energy. Feeling this type of tiredness does not mean you are weak. It means you have lived, loved, carried responsibility, and cared. Emotional fatigue is proof that your heart has been working for years without rest. The weariness you feel is not from doing nothing. It is from feeling everything. As we get older, sleep becomes a different experience. Many people expect to sleep the same way they did in their 30s or 40s, but the body and brain have their own rhythm, and that rhythm shifts with time. You might go to bed tired, fall asleep easily, then wake up at 3 in the morning for no clear reason. You might sleep through the night but still feel unrefreshed in the morning. It can be frustrating, especially when you feel your energy slipping away during the day and you can't figure out why. Age doesn't take away your ability to sleep, but it does change how the body handles it. The natural production of sleep hormones like melatonin drops over time. The body becomes more sensitive to small disruptions. A little noise, a change in temperature, or light from a nearby hallway. The sleep you do get becomes lighter and more fragile. Instead of deep, restorative sleep, the night becomes a cycle of drifting in and out. You wake up more because your brain is more alert, not because something is wrong. There's another layer too. When daily life slows down, the mind becomes much busier than before. A quiet house means more room for thoughts. You may start revisiting memories, thinking about unfinished conversations, or worrying about family and health. Those thoughts don't disappear when you lie down to sleep. They follow you into the night, swirling just under the surface. Even though your body is still, your mind continues working. Waking up early isn't always insomnia. Sometimes the body no longer needs as many consecutive hours of sleep, but instead wants shorter rest periods at different times of the day. Many older adults take a brief nap and then feel guilty about it, believing napping means they are lazy or slowing down. But a rested body functions better. Sleep is not a performance. It's a biological need that changes form over time. There's also the emotional side of night. Darkness can bring reflection, worry, or loneliness. When the world quiets down, that's when the unresolved feelings come forward. A memory from decades ago, or a conversation that never finished, suddenly becomes clear and loud. Those emotional whispers use energy, even if you're lying still. None of this means you are doing something wrong. It simply means your body has entered a new phase. Sleep is no longer about 8 perfect hours. It becomes more about giving your mind and body space to rest in short waves rather than one long block. Understanding this can bring peace instead of frustration. It is not about forcing sleep to look like it used to. It is about allowing rest to take shape in the way your body now prefers. Feeling tired all the time does not mean you are weak, lazy, or just getting old. There are reasons, and there are small, gentle ways to take back your energy. If anything in this video sounded familiar, share one thing in the comments. Which kind of tired do you feel the most? Body tired or emotionally tired? Your story may help someone else feel less alone. And if you found value in this video, consider subscribing. We are building a quiet corner of the internet where seniors and families can learn, connect, and feel supported. You deserve to feel good in your own skin at every age.